Alright, hello everyone and welcome back. We're here today with a two-skull battle mission called Take the Bait, fighting against a unknown mercenary company. And we have done a slight upgrade to our lance. We've swapped out the Hermes Mark II for Centurion CN9D that I got the last pieces for. We got the first couple pieces on a mission up on the channel last week, but I got the last couple pieces on the, the one mission that I did in between now and then just to get us a little bit of extra cash. So, I took it for salvage, hoping to sell some things, maybe get a couple mech parts to sort of hurry along the process of building out new mechs for the Lance. And, well, when I saw that thing, I figured this could be a good opportunity. So we have enemy contact. It looks like there's not just one, but two different lances. We have a 20-tonner and a 55-tonner on sensors, so it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. And the Centurion... oh, no, this is the Dervish. So the Centurion CN9D has been lightly modified. I did, of course, put in ferrofibrous armor, and I have arranged this to be more of a close weapon system build than an LRM build, because I'm not the biggest fan of an LRM-10 in the early game. I don't think it really does all that much for you. I think it's great for the AI when they get that light, consistent damage, but I would rather go in with some SRM-6 punch. We do, of course, have an Artemis 4 fire control system, and that will hopefully prove to be very valuable for us real soon. So we're just moving up the field. It looks like we're going to be fighting with their first lance over this ridge, and, 20, 55, 45, should be a good fight. We do have more firepower than they do in just that single lance at the moment, but of course they do have their entire second drop, so odds are we're fighting against 8 different mechs with our 5. Granted, our 5 mechs have received quite a significant, upgrade in terms of firepower and capability with the introduction of the Centurion over the Hermes. We are paying for it a little bit in mobility. As we get heavier mechs, the Marauder, of course, is quite slow, although we do attempt to make up for it by having sensor lock on there. Of course, this mech is piloted by Trashcan, the man himself, and the sensor lock is going to be showing off its worth. So right now we have 23s to hit, mostly across the board. That's because of the 6 evasion pips held by that Locust. We do also have a Hatchetman 6D. That is an upgraded version, rotary AC5, triple ER medium. I actually built my Hatchetman, I guess I put an Ultra AC20 on there, a little bit different range intention, although I think I tried something longer range at first. A Bushwhacker. I do love that mech design. This is just, I think it's a very nice looking mech design. Not sure I love the loadout, and that one is particularly damaged. Both of their lances are going to be working together, so we're going to have to play this one very well and take some of the OpFor off the battlefield sooner rather than later. So if we take a look right now at what we can do with the Dervish, this is not exceptional. Our best damage will probably come off of, look, there's only one pip over here on the Hatchetman, so we could start working on him. That would be probably a pretty good choice. I also want to sensor lock that Locust again because he's an easy kill if we can get him. So let me just do a small move with the Irby Lamb. I think what we're going to do, we're going to crush around the left side of this flank and then push diagonally toward the right to try and minimize their ability to maintain contact with our full set, with our full lance. Okay, so the Urban-Mech UMR90, so this is a Whirlwind, provides 10% damage reduction, but, it makes it's hard for us to shoot out of, it's hard for them to shoot into. So it does kind of slow things down a little bit. I think we will... so the combined sprint into it is a little bit much. But the Urban Mech will move on Initiative 8. So this is what we're going to do. We move up into the Whirlwind, and we're going to fire just the medium pulses. This is a very hot biome. I don't want to build any heat until I have a decent chance to hit. And of course those twin coin flips both missed. Oh, as per usual. So let's go ahead and start getting some stuff done. Now the Centurion CN9D does have an LBX AC10, Long War Extended AC10, and this allows us to switch between cluster and slug rounds. Now the difference should be very apparent when there is somewhat worse accuracy with the slug round. Cluster round tends to be a little bit more accurate, although the damage is not concentrated in one spot. So initially you'll want to start off with a slug round, hopefully land it, and weaken that armor all in one location, and then use cluster to crit seek almost like you're using an LRM or something of that nature. So first shot going in against the Hatchet Man, we do land the slug, we do land some of the missile fire, it's very nice. Not too much heat building up on the Centurion either, nothing, but not a lot. And we do get some pretty good damage in on that Hatchet Man's right arm, which of course is great for us, because if we can take out his melee weapon, it'll be a lot less scary. So we're going to move up Dervish on the sprint as well. I do want to maintain very nice evasion, which will be a struggle as we increase our lance capabilities. Full Alpha Strike, we're not going to be able to do that consistently with the Dervish. It is not really capable of sinking all of the heat that Alpha Strike just generated. But we're doing the best that we can. Looks like left torso is nearly exposed, right arm is exposed to internal structure. And now what we'll do is we'll come over here with the Irby Lamb. So I could send the Irby Lamb after the Locust as well, but I think, as fragile as that Locust is, I think getting rid of this Hatchet Man before he can use his hatchet is probably more valuable. At least it seems that way to me. Let's fire in, hopefully this rips off at least the arm. We do, kill the whole mech. Looks like there was an XL engine on there. That's not too surprising, considering that there was a rotary AC-5, which is a very heavy piece of equipment, along with other technology as well. Okay, one down. Looks like 7 to go. And the Locust is getting out of dodge, saying, okay, I was sensor locked twice. My escort with the Hatchet Man has been taken off the field. This seems like a good way to die, and so that's nice that he's moving back. Hopefully we can get the Bushwhacker moving forward and focus on him as our next target. I am reserving down. I'm a little bit nervous about this. Our UMR-90 only has 3 evasion pips. It might be worth moving him, but I don't want to have that move get exploited. So we've waited, I think, as long as we reasonably can. I need to get better evasion. We're going to go into the Whirlwind, get a nice side shot on the Bushwhacker with acceptable accuracy for me to make that decision. So let's see what double medium pulse can do. Actually, we'll add in an ER medium as well. It is still a coin flip on the ER medium, but I want to get some damage in. And we're not building too much heat, so we land all 3, kind of makes up for missing the double coin flips on the Locust. Something back there, 30 tons with an autocannon, probably an urban mech. That's what that looks like to me. Maybe an R60X with an AC-10. Could be. I'm not particularly scared of that. I mean, it's not phenomenal to have to deal with an AC-10 shell, because you know you can underestimate urban mechs all you want, and then sometimes they do surprise you. So if I come up here, yes, okay, this is the shot that I want. Now the Marauder is going to be burning very hot here. We need a double heatsink kit in this mech. Over half of our push toward the red line, it is because of those twin PPCs. So let's fire in. Very nice. Structure exposed, sensors impaired, left arm destroyed. That is what you like to see. That's why we bring that Marauder along. I do hope to upgrade both of those PPCs to, well, something else. Taking a look at an improved binary laser sort of system on the Marauder, but I have to find them first, or we have to ally with House Merrick, which we are making our way toward. So I wouldn't expect that that would take all that much longer to accomplish. This is acceptable accuracy. So this is something where you have to be a little bit careful, right? That Bushwhacker is showing that he has structure exposed. But that's because he's lost the arm. He doesn't actually have any other structure exposed. So if I just go off of, okay, well I'm showing orange there, and switch over to cluster, I'll lightly damage the rest of his armor. But what actually needs to happen is I need to try and land that slug again to open up another location somewhere else. Which we do manage, and actually follow up with some SRM6s, although, wait, hold on. This told me, okay, well it showed red. I'm not sure why it showed red. Might be a little bit of a glitch there, but those things happen. Somebody in the back is moving up. Let's see, we have a vehicle, we have probably an urban mech Griffin. Very nice. Jumping on in, all confident. Oh, geez, that's a coil. Okay, I had not thought about mounting a coil on a Griffin. He does have Griffin Rugged. The inherent mech quirk doesn't look like there's anything like hardened armor or anything like that on there. So we should be able to get through that. I'm a little terrified of coils because they could, as I've mentioned a couple times in the previous campaign, the AI doesn't need to preserve all their mechs. They just need to damage yours beyond recognition. And a coil is very capable of doing that very quickly. So we're gonna open up with nearly everything off the dervish. We do get a knockdown, that's why I kept the missiles on instead of turning those off in favor of lasers to try and get through a single hit location. Pilot is injured, but unfortunately no bleed out, which is what I was hoping for. If there was bleed out with with what's remaining on that bushwhacker, we maybe could have ignored him and gone after the Griffin with the coil. As it turns out, we will still have to kill that mech, and now is the best time to do it while he's knocked down, and we'll get chosen location, called shots. So, Edmund and the Irby Lamb could be a solution to our Griffin problem, but I want to see what the Locust does first, because Edmund and that Irby Lamb could also more than likely take out the Locust in a single shot, if not severely damage it in that single shot. And yeah, that Locust does not have much evasion from that move, or at least I don't expect it. Oh wow, 6. Okay, well that's more than I thought. He did jam his MGs, so he doesn't actually have anything left to hit us with. Which is kind of, kind of funny. Okay, well, Griffin will be moving on 6. I'm most concerned about the Marauder. Kind of vulnerable, right? 3 evasion pips, but the Griffin is smaller than the Marauder, which means it will get either a +1 or a +2 when shooting. So that basically means we're sitting here with 2 evasion pips versus this Griffin, which is not nearly enough to make me comfortable. What we can try to do is take out the coil before he has a chance to use it. The only way to do that is to go through that rear torso and try to... Well, it's the better way to do this. Let's see what our accuracy is with the Irby Lamb. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move around here with the Irby Lamb. This is very risky. I'm doing it because I think it'll work out, but keep in mind this could end very poorly if we take an AC-10 shell, if we take an LBX AC-20 from a Hunchback 5S, or that ERPPC from the Lynx. So none of those are things that I want to have happen to us, but I do want that coil offline. So, here we go. Okay, structure exposed, but not enough to take anything down. And that's because we didn't go for we didn't actually hit the side torsos, we hit the center, which is, of course, reinforced by Griffin Rugged. So we're going to run up here, put 2 urban mechs right close together, which is always a bad decision, because if they miss one, they might accidentally hit the other. I'm going to go in for another precision strike to slow this guy down. This is why we saved our heat for an alpha strike, and let's go in. Oh, please, come on. Alright, well we pounded more damage into him, but not enough to take out either torso still. Didn't even land a hit on that right side rear torso, which is what we needed to do in order to rip off his coil. And now I've wasted time where I could be shooting, well, I could have been shooting at the bushwhacker. So, we've got a bit of a problem. One potential solution is just to double and triple down, which I think is where we're going to go with this. It might come back to bite me, especially because we don't have the best heat available on the Dervish. I can't go in with everything, but I can go in with SRM-16, and we're going to just try to crit out his engine core. I've done a lot of damage to that rear CT. Oh no, don't get that. Come on. Called strike. Oh, we must be so close. You're kidding me. Oh man. Okay, let's take a look. 21 left. Everything else is damaged. But we have not been able to take down that Griffin. Hunchback shooting in against the Dervish. That is a silver lining. The Dervish is much more capable of taking that fire than is the Irby Lamb. But I can't get any more rear shots on the Griffin this turn. So instead, we're going to try to take out the Bushwhacker. He is downed. He won't stay that way forever. Of course, this gives us wonderful accuracy, and again, the ability to call our hit location. I'm going to go for that right torso. I know the left one is damaged, but the right one would also rip off that undamaged. Switch that. The left one is damaged, the right one is not. I want to see if I can block the proxy. Right torso destroyed. Is that an XL engine as well? Well, that mech's down, and it's a pity I didn't take this for the salvage, because we would be getting some absolutely wonderful salvage from this. I took it for 1,000,000 C-bills to try and buy some improved weaponry in one of the shops. We of course do have a few coils, but until we get a double heatsink, or well, or some nice heat exchangers, those are largely useless for us. So I think what we do is we fix our evasion problem with the Marauder, or, well, let's take a look here. Yeah, no, there's no way I'm going to pound through all of that frontal armor in one go. So we're going to move... well, that's just a horrible shot. Can I get a good shot at anything? That's not bad. That's very nice. That's very nice. Okay, well, we'll move up here. And let's see what we can get. The Streetcaster Run 2, this is a deadly build, but that's a lot of armor to chew through. Hunchback has less and does have the LBX AC-20. We're going to take Precision Strike on him. Now, there's not necessarily a need for this, but I do want to slow him down to moving on to 5 in the next turn. Buy myself a little bit of extra time to get out of this bad situation that we're in, trying to deal with the Griffin. So, now it's the Griffin's turn, and that's a small move. The coil, yeah, doesn't do all that much damage. 30 is still not something I want to be taking to rear arc on the Dervish, but it is at least something that doesn't even get through our main armor. Silver lining, I suppose. Ooh. Okay. So we're going to move here with the Urbuland. This gives us 6 evasion pips for the move, and I still have wonderful accuracy, even with the ER smalls, on Griffin. I think some of that must be from size delta. Yeah, size delta -2, rear attack -2. If we were taking this as a frontal attack, we'd be down in the 50 to 60 range for our accuracy. Fingers crossed, if either of the streaks lands in the rear CT, that's dead mech. Very nice. So that's another threat off the board so far, so good. 3 down, 5 to go. So now they are matching us, of course, in size for our drop, and they've only managed a little bit of light damage on the Dervish, a little bit of even lighter damage on the Marauder. Locust is moving away, hiding in the Whirlwind. That's absolutely fine. If I have to hunt him down as a last threat on the battlefield, that's okay with me. It really won't make that much of a difference. 6 evasion pips, 4 evasion pips, 5 evasion pips. What's moving now? That'll be the R60. Let's let the R60 move. He does miss. Good. A little bit lucky on that one. Once again, the Irby is smaller than the Dervish, so there was an accuracy benefit to him there, and the Hetzer needs to die, because that's a lot of SRMs. Let's let him move. Hopefully he'll move up, and hopefully we can maintain decent enough evasion to make it not... Oh, that's a rear strike. Oh, jeez. Okay, so the Dervish needs to move. The Dervish needs to sink some of that instability, which I can't do via a Vigilance, not yet anyway. So let's move. Just a standard walk will sink some instability, and we do have a very nice set of accuracy here. So what I'm debating is, I want to drill through a single hit location, but neither the medium lasers or the SRMs are really excellent at this. So let's just... well, I mean, the medium lasers drill, but not for very much damage. So, actually, most of that was concentrated, oddly enough, on that right side torso. If I can get a kick onto the Hetzer, we might be able to take that vehicle out. So, let's see what we can do. Lynx moves up, thankfully missing most of his shots. And can you actually get a kick that looks like it's charge distance? Yeah, unfortunately, no kick for us there. But we can do this. So, we'll walk right up. And we're going to slow this guy down, moving on 6. Turn off one of the medium lasers, and hopefully this slug will go right through that right side torso. Yes, okay, we got it. So, Hetzer's down, very nice. Halfway through the OpFor, and the Centurion is just showing off the added punch that he does bring to our lance very, very well. Oh, what's left to move? Okay, that's the Hunchback. I had wanted to hit him again before sinking instability. The plan was to move the Dervish up and hit him with enough SRMs to knock him over. but we had to take care of the Hetzer, and I'm glad that we did. So the Marauder, I think at this point, will actually move back a little bit. We don't have the most evasion here, but we don't necessarily need it. All I want to do is land double PPC into the Hunchback again for the reduction in accuracy on his part, as well as exactly what I was hoping for. It is enough stability damage to get the knockdown, which is a really often underlooked benefit of PPCs, I think. The stability damage can add up very quickly at long range, especially when complemented with other sort of short range or even LRM sort of based options. So we're going to rush past this guy with the UMR90, take advantage of the 360-degree torso twist, but that is way too much heat, so we're going to have to pick and choose between sets of the medium pulse or ER larges until we've synced a little bit of our heat. Structure exposed. Kind of surprised. We probably pounded both into the same hit location if we're getting that sort of result, and yeah, both of them to the rear CT. Now this is something can be easy to do when you're playing this game. Is just say, oh well, I landed them both into the same hit location last time. Clearly if I do that again, I'll be able to do, well, the same hit location again and drill right through. No, that's often a nice way of staying in the same place, losing your evasion, and being very, very unhappy at the end of the day. So we're going to let the Locust move. I want to move out of the Whirlwind, or if he stays in the Whirlwind, he'll at least lose a lot of evasion pips. Sometimes the AI does overvalue being in things like the Whirlwind, because they'll say, oh hey, you know, I have this added protection, and what they really need is just to maintain the normal source of protection. But this time he does move up. It looks like he was, if he had guns, he would have gotten a rear shot on our Marauder. We could turn and kick here, but I want those big guns facing forward, so we're going to use the Irby Lamb as a little bit of a sweeper. Unfortunately, nothing near a full Alpha Strike, so the Locust may well survive this. And no, actually we do take that mech out with the double streak S around 4. Very nice. Quite a fan. Okay, so there's the UMR-60. Finally does land that AC-10 of his, doing, you know, the most single-shot damage of, well, most of the OpFor, so showing off why you really shouldn't underestimate the AI's little trash can. I'm sorry, I can't help myself with that. It's too good of a meme. But we're going to wait with the Urban Mech. I think we're going to reserve down to 6. That'll let the Lynx move, but it will give us 3 options to move before their Hunchback will be able to stand back up on 5. PPC coming in, missing, not bad. Okay. And our Marauder is just, well, sinking shots, but not actually taking any damage from them, which is pretty good for us. So I think we could just collapse here on the UMR-60, but I kind of wanted to put that LBX AC-10 onto the downed Hunchback. Well, you know what? There's no real way, so if I... This is not exactly ideal. I'm not going to put the Dervish, who does have such instability, onto that rough terrain. It's not going to happen. So we're going to move over here, gets 3 evasion pips. Well, pounding into the Lynx from the front is a little bit unnecessary at this point. I think here's what we're going to do. I want to see how this manages first, and then we'll go from there. So all of this into the UMR-60. SRM-6 is showing off their crit-seeking ability. We do take that mech off the battlefield. This gives us extended options now that we don't have to watch out for that AC-10 in the backfield. So what I think we're going to do, we are going to walk over here with 3 evasion pips. It's a block shot, so we'll get reduced damage, I believe, into this downed Hunchback, but I can turn on one of the medium lasers, and let's just go right for the core. And as you guys have noticed, I haven't been able to use Battlelord even a single time, because the amount of heat that it generates on this sort of biome would mean that I'd have to turn off all my guns to get slightly increased firepower, which is not exactly how that is supposed to work. So let's move right up close and personal. The reason I'm doing this is because the clan medium pulses have a very, very short range. And we will turn on, I think, the ER medium. I want this mech dead. Something has to hit its center torso. Okay, 1 left, and it is a very damaged very unhappy links. It might be unhappy, but I'm absolutely loving the new Centurion edition that we've made. That's just I wasn't sure if I was going to like it that much. I tend not to love Centurions just on their own, but that particular loadout is very effective at mid to long range, and I do enjoy the flexibility from the LBX AC-10. So maybe I'll have to refine my mech design usual criteria. That's a bit of a stretch, though. We'll have to see what happens first. So I'm going to pound it in on this guy from the front. The reason I'm doing that is because we have exposed that left torso, and ripping off his arms is good enough for me. So let's see what we can do here. Not a lot of work with the Irby Lamb, unfortunately. We will just stand behind him, do a precision strike with the UMR-90. Only one goes into the rear CT, so if I counted on that... Oh! Okay, now I'm really sad I didn't take it. Well, so the reason I didn't take it for salvage is the salvage was maximum 210, so it's not like I would have been able to get the whole thing anyway. Alright, well, milk run just as expected. Good work, Commander. Thank you, Darius. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.